is constructed. It is on the base. We got name on the back, and we are ready to begin with putting the paper mache on. So I've got newspaper to keep my animal on. I have newspaper strips, and I have the paper mache itself, or we'll call it elephant snot. Now, the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to stick this animal down onto the base. So we're going to take these newspaper strips and we're going to attach them from here onto the base. Okay? These are, we can call these like band-aids or tape in a sense, because when they dry, they will adhere like tape and it will be very solid. Right now, it's really gunky, gup, and whatever you want to say. I can't even come up with the word for it. But it's really kind of messy. Okay, so I have just dipped this entire piece of newspaper strip. I'm going to strain off some of the extra, because if you have too much to begin with, you're going to start dripping all over the table and all over your newspaper and all of that. So what I just did here, all right, is I have put this newspaper strip so it's on the actual head itself, and I put it on the base, and I'm just basically going to push it down underneath the animal. But notice that it's actually on the base right here. Can you see that? Hello? Thank you. All right, I want to do this all the way around, because again, when that dries, I will no longer have to worry about the hot glue making it stick to the base. Okay? It will take the place of that, that hot glue. So again, I just dipped it. I'm going to strain off some of the excess. I'm going to go ahead and put it right next to the piece in fact, I might even overlap it just a little bit. And let me lift it up for the camera here. Okay, so I went ahead and I put it on there, and I'm going to tuck it in just a little bit. And I've got enough goop on my finger, I can kind of spread it around like that too. The nice thing about this, the newspaper and the paper mache itself, is that it makes it very flexible. So as you get going, if you notice that you have something sticking up, you can just kind of push it down like that, because you will have stuff as you go. So you're going to do this all the way around the animal. And I don't know if you guys picked up that this is the first layer. We're actually going to do a total of 3 layers. Okay? We're going to do 2 of them in newspaper, and then we're going to do our third one in just a plain old color of paper. I get that bulletin board paper that teachers use, covering up their bulletin boards, and we're going to do a solid color. That way all these big letters and stuff like that are not going to show up when it dries and you go to paint it. So again, notice what I'm doing here is I'm kind of tucking it and I'm smoothing it out. I'm going to tuck it in just a little bit and make sure that it's flat as it can be. All right, by the time you go all the way around the bottom part of your base, we should not see any brown from your base. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so assuming that we go all the way around the base, because I'm not going to do that on the video. All right, we go all the way around, and we still have time in class this first day. Then you can start doing the rest of your animal. Same thing applies. We want to cover every single part of this with newspaper. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and go up to the ear, because what I said earlier is that this stuff makes things stick better from one piece to the other. So I'm going to take this and say, okay, I need to make sure that this ear is no longer floppy. So I'm going to lay it down, okay, on the ear. And you'll notice that it is actually not the right shape, or it's too big for the ear. So I have it stuck to the head and the ear, but it's not right here because I want that ear, the edge, to be going like this. So I'm just going to basically tuck it around like that. That makes sense? Okay, now I got to do the back side. Even though we don't see the back side, I want to do the back side because this is what strengthens my sculpture. Okay, so every single part of this sculpture is going to be covered with paper mache newspaper. I'm going to do this part right here. I'm going to tuck it up and around like that, and then I'm going to say, okay, once I get the front done, I'm going to put a piece right here. Excuse me. I might even have to take this piece and tuck it around the front like that. Now, I don't know if you guys caught that, but I didn't even put any paper mache on it, and it's sticking. You know why? Yeah, I've got stuff all over my fingers. It is a little dry right here, so I'm going to go ahead and I dipped my finger in the paper mache and just kind of slathered it on a little bit. But again, imagine this whole thing is going to be covered with paper mache. It's going to be covered with newspaper. We won't see any white, we won't see any brown. And when you get done with your first layer, if you get it done in one day, it's actually going to be very shiny. You can kind of see that on the camera, how it's kind of shiny. Okay? Now, when we put these animals in the storeroom, you're going to have to keep it on newspaper. We're not using the boxes today because we cannot fit all of these in a box. So she's going to take her animal. Okay, when she's done, she's going to carry it like this with the newspaper underneath it. She's going to set it in the storeroom. Ooh, hopefully you don't have any paper mache underneath the newspaper, but she's going to set it down on the shelf just like this. And we are going to have to keep them kind of close. We don't want one person's paper mache touching another, but we are going to have to do a tad bit of overlapping just to get them, and I'm talking about the newspaper part here. Now, this stuff, best thing you can do is to take some paper towel. Sorry, I grabbed some just for this. Dry off as much as you can, and then some real hot soapy water will take almost all of it off. These are going to go back in the back of the room. I'm talking the east side of the room. All right, that's by the orange and the green sink, and we're going to put them in the boxes. You do not want to stack this bowl inside of another bowl. So what I will do is I will put some white plastic sheets on top of a bowl like right here so that we can put another layer on top. All right. Our number one goal for today would be to get at least the bottom attached with a strip that goes from the animal to the base so we don't see any brown by the end of the first day. But if you get even further, then I say go for it and get the entire first layer done. Again, we're doing 2 layers of newspaper and 1 layer